My name is Miriam Blas Torres, and this is my evidence tree of contemporary world. Important events. The fall of Berlin Wall. On November 9, 1989, as the Cold War began to throw across Eastern Europe, the spokesman for East Berlin's Communist Party announced a change in his city's relation with the West starting at midnight that day. He said, citizens of the GDR were free to cross the country's borders. World Wide Web invented. On 1989, the World Wide Web was invented. This invention made the Internet accessible and useful to people everywhere. World Trade Center bombing. On February 26, 1993, terrorists parked a rental van in a garage underneath the World Trade Center's twin towers and lit the fuses on a massive homemade bomb stuffed inside. War against Iraq. The United States led an invasion on Iraq on March 20, 2003 to overthrow the government of Saddam Hussein. He was captured and eventually executed. This war continued throughout the decade to come and affect America greatly. Hurricane Katrina. On August 29, 2005, Hurricane Katrina struck the Gulf Coast of the United States with full force. It was a Category 3 storm and brought devastating winds that were up to miles per hour. Obama elected president. President Barack Obama was elected as the 44th United States President in 2008, and he won a re-election in 2012, which means he was going to be the president of the United States for another 4 years. History was made when he was elected because he is the first African American to hold the presidential office, and as far as we know, the life for black people in that time were very hard because there were a lot of racism and their ideas were not respected. Now I'm going to describe the following terms. Globalization. It consists of the growing communication and interdependence between the different countries of the world, uniting their markets, societies, and cultures through a series of social, economic, and political transformations that give them a global character. Terrorism is the use of intentionally indiscriminate violence or terror in order to achieve a political, religious, or ideological aim. It is classified as fourth-generation warfare and as a violent crime. In modern times, terrorism is considered a major threat to society and therefore illegal under anti-terrorism laws in most jurisdictions. It is also considered a war crime under the laws of war when used to target non-combatants, such as civilians, neutral military personnel, or enemy prisoners of war. Unipolar world. Unipolarity is used to describe the power structure when one superpower dominates alone. The end of the Cold War meant that the previous decade's superpower rivalry now had ended. There was no longer the traditional East versus West conflict, at least not the way it had been earlier in the 20th century. Digital era. The digital era is characterized by technology which increases the speed and breadth of knowledge turnover within the economy and society. The digital era can be seen as the development of an evolutionary system in which knowledge turnover is not only very high, but also increasingly out of the control of humans, making it a time in which our lives become more difficult to manage. Why did the globalization emerge? Globalization has become the buzzword of at least 2 decades. The sudden increase in the exchange of knowledge, trade, and capital around the world, driven by technological innovation from the Internet to shipping containers, thrust the term into the limelight. In most cases, what caused the terrorist attacks of 20th century? There are many reasons why people have chosen to resort to terrorist attacks over the years. In general terms, the terrorist group will make use of these tactics. Feel that there is no alternative but to use force. Feel that these tactics have the potential to force change, or view the use of terror as appropriate revenge against a perceived enemy. How does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar world? Well, the United States are faced as the sole dominating power in world politics, as there were no real challenge to their hegemonic position. This allowed greater room for the superpower to maneuver and to get involved in international issues that not necessarily coincide with national interest. We can describe this new political situation as being unipolar. According to structural realist, unipolarity is unstable because it is progressing toward multipolarity. Multipolarity, or system of multipolarity, increases rivalry in world politics. The reason being that many states of similar strength compete for power and influence. And as we know, the Cold War was an indirect war between two powerful nations. So this is a relation. It is more with the multipolarity, but as it has relations with unipolarity, it is related also with the United States. How has the digital era influenced today's society? The technology or the digital era has influenced our lives in all ways. Digital technology is already an indispensable part of our daily life. For example, when we want to communicate with others, it is in almost all the cases indispensable the internet. But even if we don't use the internet, we use text messages where we use our cell phones, and cell phones are part of the digital era as the computers when we want to search for information. The internet makes life easier, so we don't have to search for information in books, and also for buy things. It is easy to buy things online, so we can say that the internet has become part of our daily lives.